Assalamu alaikum, everybody. I'm Tawqir, a member of KCF's core working group. So, welcome everybody. Welcome to the chat. Thank you for tuning in, whoever is joining from Facebook. Today's session is very special as it's about something that I personally have gone through, a journey I've been through, a journey a lot of us have been through, a journey a lot of you will sort of go through in the next few years to come. And I think a session like this to talk about careers in technology, to talk about what roles there are available for us, for students, for aspiring technology professionals that you can enroll into, that you can learn about, and then make your careers in. There's a lot of confusion about what is a certain role. Is tech only about coding? Is it about what else does it entail? What is a software engineering role? What is say a product management role? And what other roles do you get into? Because not every role fits your skill set. And there is a role for your skill set as well. If you're interested in technology, there's a plethora of opportunities for you to get into, for you to learn and then make your careers in. And that is what we want to talk about today. We have some amazing folks with us. We have Adil, who's an engineering leader at Amazon. We have Aqib, who is an engineer at Upgrade in Canada. And yeah, they will walk us through some of the concepts on what roles does technology as an industry have, and how you can get into a role like that. What skills do you need to have? And we'll also talk about some of our favorite Kashmiri leaders in these roles and take them as inspiration for our careers as well. Before we proceed into the session, I would like to invite Altaf Saab to make the introductory remarks, and then we'll move to the session. Altaf Saab.
Thank you so much, Tawqir. Assalamu alaikum, adab, sat sri akal. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. For those of you who might be wondering, 𝗕𝗵𝘁 साहब की आवाज़ ऐसी क्यों है? He's auditioning for a Bollywood film. So he's been training to have this deep voice. So Tawqir, thank you so much for doing whatever you do, and to thank everyone for what you do. I just want to first wish everyone a happy new year. I want to ask everyone that be healthy, be happy, and help someone you may not know. हम एक दूसरे की मदद तो करते ही हैं, but उनकी मदद करें जिनको हम जानते नहीं हैं. So that would be a remarkable thing for all of us to do. As Tawqir mentioned, this is a special session. And this special session it was derived from a conversation long time ago with 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 of KEI. So I hope many KEI mentees have dialed in today too. And before I also say my thank you to Aqib and Adil, I wanted to ask everyone who has dialed in today to follow us on our Facebook, LinkedIn, X, and Instagram. We communicate with you on Facebook mostly and Instagram. We don't have an office. We don't have physical presence everywhere, but we are everywhere. I might be in Atlanta, but a part of me is in Kashmir. Tawqir is in Kerala, but a big part of him is in Kashmir. So please do follow us. We would love to be connected with you. The mentorship role through KCF Mentor is in its 4th or 5th month. And we have about 30 mentees, and I think they're having extremely good experiences. Mentors are having good experiences too. So for those of you who would like to serve as mentors, please reach out to us. We need you to help your brothers and sisters back home. Back home means anywhere actually for us. कभी-कभी थोड़ी सी बात करके किसी छोटे बच्चे से उनकी ज़िंदगी बढ़ जाती है. And you all have experiences you lived through. So share those experiences with them. So आज का session has been a result of, I would say, at least month and a half of hard work. 𝗬𝗏𝗧𝗲𝗏, Adil are the stars today, but they've been supported by 𝗨𝗏𝗙 साहब, हमारी तंजीला, फ़लक, ज़हूर साहब. And this, when I watched it happening behind the scene, was like a TV show being assembled, कि कैसे शुरू करना है, कहाँ पे क्या कहना है. And then 𝗬𝗍𝗍, who has joined in as management intern, you will hear us talk about internships. And one thing we decided was, let's bring in a person who will manage a particular show. So 𝗬𝗍𝗍 is basically managing us. And I hope she's learning how to manage enterprises and individuals at the same time. With those comments, Adil, a big thank you to you. 𝗬𝗏𝗧𝗏, a big thank you to you as well. I know you assembled a great team. There's a lot happening behind the scene. ये पहला event नहीं होगा, ये बहुत सारे event होंगे. Inshallah, you'll all benefit. I know I'm going to be benefiting. 𝗬𝗏𝗧𝗏, Adil, over to you, please.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. My name is Adil, and let me start with saying thanks. Thank you, Dr. Lal, for allowing us to, present something from our experience and some knowledge from what we have got over the last 20, 25 years with the audience. And thanks for that opportunity. Let me start sharing the screen, and you guys can let me know whether this is working or not. And okay, so let me start with, my name is Adil Hamid, and it's a great pleasure to be with you all today. And this topic has been very, close to my heart. I have done a number of sessions like these through JKNN. There's a government-based program which helped to share the knowledge with the high school kids from J&K government. I have done this through other organizations as well. So this topic has been very close to my heart, and unlocking your future in technology, as I am a part of a technology group itself, had given me such a great, immense pleasure to give back to the society, and also to give back to the place where I came from. So before we dive in, again, a sincere thanks to KCF and particularly Dr. Altaf Lal and Dr. Tanzila for giving both me and 𝗬𝗏𝗧𝗏 this opportunity to share this with you. As an engineering lead at Amazon, I see firsthand how these career paths can change lives. Today, alongside with 𝗬𝗏𝗧𝗏, but a dear friend, he's my senior mentor from NIT, from Amazon, from my grad school. He has always helped me navigate everything I have done so far. So thanks, 𝗬𝗏𝗧𝗏, for that. And we will help you navigate these diverse opportunities across both academia and industry. So we today are not just going to concentrate on the tech in the industry, but we're also going to cover some part of it in the academia. Our goal today is to give you the roadmap to find out where you fit the best. There are people among you who will be amazing researchers. There will be some of you who will be amazing coders. We want to give you that outlay the options for you, and so that you can make an informed decision. We know about how we can be given a very less amount of the options, and we end up choosing something which we are not fit for. So unless you explore those, we want to give you that opportunity to explore what is out there. Throughout this session, I just want to, bust a myth, which is, hey, if you want to get into tech, you need to be a coder. That is something I just want to make sure that tech is just not just coding. We'll walk through major career families, from design to infrastructure to the business strategies. We'll break down this into two different roads, and the roads are basically academia path and then the industry, where you focus on the knowledge and creation of the knowledge. And where you build a real world problem, where you solve the real world problems through both of these paths. Next question is, why tech careers? Like, what is special about tech? Two decades ago, if you would have told me or Aqib or anybody at least know of in this room that I would be presenting from miles away, thousands of miles away, and both me and Aqib are in the different parts of the continent in North America. And I would have laughed. I would have said like, "Oh no, this is not possible." And then we are reaching the audience across like different countries or different places. All of this is possible just because of technology. Back then, back in early 2000s, technology was a support function. Today, it's the backbone of the society. Go to any offices today, every sector, from the healthcare to finance to government to gaming, it needs technology. And it offers a high demand and a competitive salaries. It's at the end of the day, you also want to get into a career which gives you like money, because you need to spend money on to sustaining your life. And it provides an incredible flexibility like remote work, right? We just talked about that we are going to start some internships, and people are going to join internships from Kashmir, doing the internships for different companies across the world. So it gives that flexibility of remote work. And most importantly, it gives you the power to shape the future through innovation, problem solving. So, you're solving the real world problem. So like, think about it, like we can solve the genomic problems. We can solve highly complex aeronautical problems. We can solve like real world problems. And industry no longer asks for if we can use the technology. They are saying that, hey, how fast can we innovate with it? What can we do to make things better and go on to the next idea? The funny story, I want to share an anecdote from my boarding school days. We used to have an internet connection through a 𝗬𝗏. At that point in time, this did not make sense to me. What is a 𝗬𝗏? And we had a huge dish antenna. This is 2002, 2003. And it usually was like somebody adjusting the antenna, getting internet a little bit. And then we had a very 250 kbps speed. And we could just send an email, receive an email. Today, you'll be astonished that you have your mobile device. You don't need that big, huge antenna. You just need a mobile phone and you can get a satellite internet very easily. And that is the progress we have made in 2 decades. So now we know why tech is important, why careers in the tech is important. We look at Kashmir, and what we see is a huge digital awakening. The Kashmiri youth are no longer waiting for the traditional infrastructure, and including the KCF. It's not a traditional infrastructure where you go to the school, where you go and learn something from the school. You are learning outside the school. And what our youth is doing, and example is 𝗬𝗏𝗧𝗲𝗏𝗯 or many more the success stories that Dr. Gul and Dr. Altaf and Dr. Tanzila has been sharing on. They represent that how our youth are using these non-traditional infrastructure to gain the careers. They are building their online careers right now. They're leveraging platforms like Coursera, they're using YouTube, they're using different other infrastructures to master these global skills. And one of those infrastructures is KCF. And we have seen this entrepreneurial energy in our local businesses. I was like doing a small research into like what kind of startups we have in Kashmir, and there are insane amount of them. There's a plethora of them. Fast Beetle, Curve Electric. They are proving that digital economy is powerful, and we back in Kashmir, we can make that possible. And this becomes a hopeful alternative to traditional career paths. Like, we all know about, hey, where do you want to go after 11th and 12th? We are going to doctor route, we're going to engineer route, but now we have many more other paths as well. And this technology is bridging a gap. I was just looking at one of the other websites, and it's called 𝗵𝗿𝗀𝗀𝗀, and I was able to see that there are so many different brands which are showcasing the products like saffron, woodcraft, pashmina, and other things across the different parts of the world, providing it through the digital technology marketing, right? And this has already only been possible if the people in Kashmir, if the people in our community know how to use the technology. And this offers more than just money. It offers hope. It offers agency, the power to build a career from home, regardless of the external challenges what we face day in, day out. You can be next in line in these startups. So we have 𝗏𝗏, we have 𝗕𝗵𝘁, we have 𝗵𝗿𝗀𝗀𝗀. You observe and understand a problem. What you experience will also be experienced by others. If you are facing an issue of doing something, somebody else might be feeling it. Apply technology to solve those problems. Scale beyond your success. We endure tough conditions. Kashmiris are known for that. So why not use that for our own advantage? And this is the foundation of the work we are doing at the KCF to make that possible. Major misconception which I talked about. This is a very small website. This is a small presentation I'm giving in terms of like what these major tech career families are. We'll talk more about it. But a major misconception in the tech work is it only involves writing code. Today we want to debunk these myths, and we'll talk more about it. It's just a kind of a teaser I want to give you that, hey, these are some of the places where you can apply yourself. Next on, I would like to call on 𝗷𝗂𝗏 to start his presentation on the academia. He's a dear friend, a dear mentor. He has supported me for the last eight and a half years. I would like to invite 𝗷𝗂𝗏 to come on and present the next slides.
Sure. Thank you for the kind introduction. Hello, everyone. Assalamu alaikum. All right. So let me start with the first path, that there are many paths towards this which lead to the tech world. This is the first path I'm going to discuss, which is the academia path. So what exactly is it, to give you an idea? So there are basic sciences, which we know: physics, chemistry, biology, and then the engineering is applied science, where you use those basic concepts from the basic sciences into creating technologies which can solve problems, all sorts of problems. And academia is the school where the conceptual framework is laid, where the theoretical and foundations are laid. And there are different roles you can play as you go in. So what happens in the universities and all, this is a kind of a pipeline which feeds the industry. There is academia and industry, and people go from academia to industry. But in the academia as well, they play different roles. So some can be lecturer. When students enroll at a university, they need to learn different subjects, and the knowledge fields are vast. There are fields within fields. So lecturers concentrate on teaching, but as you go to become a professor, there's also the research aspect. You have to create more knowledge as well, push the boundaries of it. The second role is the research scientist, which focuses on the bleeding edge of technology, like pushing the boundary. Teaching assistant. So when the professors are teaching you the courses at universities, the courses are made comprehensive. It's not just someone coming and lecturing. You have to think about the assignments, the grading, and making the coursework relevant, adjusting it, updating it. So often the students, PhD students or graduate students, or even undergrad, they help teaching assistant in all those tasks. Then there's the postdoctoral fellow as well. After PhD as well, you work before you go into teaching. You further your research skills. PhD is the start where you learn the how to do research, but this is where you build up your credentials. So the main goal here in the academia path is creating new knowledge, creating the new set of people, training them, giving them the knowledge, and advancing the field. Yeah, we could go to the next slide. So what are the paths that lead to success in this, and what's the typical, how do you get into this field? The starting step is usually a bachelor's degree. Here we have listed computer science, IT, engineering, or math, but you can see that there's flexibility as well, and especially in computer science because of how easy it is to learn. There are people who don't have the typical background as well. They also go into technical paths because of how easy it is to access the knowledge, and a lot of courses are available online. And so this, at the bachelor level, you learn the basics. And the master's level, you go a step further, a higher level course, grad course. And in PhD, as I said, it's a training in research where you learn how to do research, how research works. It's just not the extracted outcome, but you learn how to create that knowledge and where are the things that there is the scope. You find the scope and you learn the techniques to create new knowledge. And as I mentioned earlier, postdoctoral, after you have the foundation, you build further your credentials in research. And then you go into becoming a professor at a university. And it has a track as well, like you start as an assistant, then an associate, and a full professor. And there are not just, as I said, it's not just teaching. For a lecturer, it will be, but as a professor, you have to have research. The top universities are research-based. Their prestige, their funding is all related to research, that they advance the field. And, research has big impact. Every research breakground leads to new technologies, new economy, and everything. And yeah, as you will see in all the tracks that we discuss, yeah, hopefully you will be all trailblazers, but you would also gain confidence that we already have people from Kashmir who have made a mark in each field. So we have given some examples as well. You can look these people up: Dr. Masood Hassan, Dr. Subhash Kak, Dr. Sabiha Wurdu. They have all eminent professors at leading universities who made deep research contributions, and great teachers as well, and who trained a lot of other students as well. So yeah, this is the pipeline, the long game. Yeah, we can go to the next slide. So what are the steps? So you need to take, or you need to be aware of, how do you build success in this? So there are two sides. One is the technical and professional. So on the technical side, you need to get your strong theory foundation, basically like concepts. You need to understand the different fields from the basics, from the ground up. And you need to know the techniques like programming and all to solve many of the problems. So you have to learn how to use technology like computers, programming, whether it's simulation or verifying results and all. That needs, not everything can be done by hand. So how do you leverage computers? You do it through advanced programming. And not just from the computer science, from other fields as well, and other tech as well. They also leverage programming, whether it's weather modeling or something else. And yeah, data analysis and research so you collect a lot of research input, but how do you make sense of that? So you need to understand data analysis. What is a significant result? How do you correlate, or how do you find meaning out of the data you collect? And of course, mathematical thinking to get to the truth, to differentiate, get exactness in your results. And on the professional side, this is not just, okay, you just keep on studying. There's a process to it. There are frameworks. So what is that? So like in professional, you have to learn how to do research, as I mentioned earlier in PhD. You have to learn how to present your work. What is the background? What is the scope? You can't have unlimited scope. You have to learn to be precise and concise, and you have to show how exactly you found the results, and so that others can replicate it and verify it. And so in all this, you learn the design and execution of your research study as well. The same thing can be done in different ways, but you have to show what was your methodology. And scientific writing as well, you learn how to present your work. And grant writing, you get funding from government organizations, from private players as well, because it needs money. All the students need to be paid for the equipment and all. But how do you write that convincing way that, okay, is it worth, so that it for the national organizations, for the private companies, that this is worthy of research. It's a hard problem, and if I solve this, it will lead to some benefits. So you have to learn how to write the grants. And in all this, you also need to do the mentoring and teaching. The professors won't just teach or do research, they have to train, help out the PhD students and other students as well. So they have to do mentoring as well besides the teaching. And, they get stuck or they learn how to navigate this process. And of course, public speaking in research conferences, not just in journals, in conferences, you have to speak and present your work. And that's how collaboration happens world over. Different when universities collaborate, different fields collaborate, different departments. So you have to learn to do public speaking as well. So these are some professional aspects in academia as well that you need, not just only, just study or research. So these are the skill sets you need to build.
Okay, thanks, Aqib Saab. Really appreciate you giving us the context on the academia. Funny thing is, Aqib Saab and I did our research in the same lab back at Texas A&M, and it was amazing to learn and experience Aqib Saab working. He's a great researcher and a great programmer. Thanks, Aqib Saab. And going forward, we talked about academia, but in contrast to academia, the industry path itself is where technology meets the consumer. So Aqib Saab talked about running the long game of creating a new knowledge through academia. But at the end of the day, that knowledge needs to be transferred as a product, as a use case to meet the customers. The goal is to build a scalable real world products. And one of the biggest advantages of the industry path is its versatility. You aren't just limited to just tech companies. You can just explore outside that. And you could work for like household names which you use day in, day out, Google, Microsoft, Amazon, OpenAI, any startups. Every modern sector needs tech talent. This includes banks. If you know, like banks have software developers, they have program managers, they have all these tech careers, which we are going to talk about. Healthcare and biotech for medical innovation. And this poses a question, which Aqib Saab was talking about, that everybody needs to code at some point of the time. I would call on Dr. Tanzila and somebody else who have been doing their PhDs and postdoctoral fellowships. How much coding you have done? Please explain, maybe at the end in the question answers, we'll talk about it. Even the people who are doing biotechnology have to do some amount of the coding to get some results, to derive the results, to drive the graphs. So everybody is using these. And eventually they, entertainment and the media companies, you talk about Disney, you talk about so many other, Netflix, Hulu, like these are amazing places to work for. And there are also significant opportunities in government and defense, focusing on the national infrastructure security. So in general, this is a very versatile path when it comes to industry. And the tech roles, they span from engineering, data science, security. We'll talk about that more. You have UI, UX design, product management, business strategies, and then you have the operational roles as well. The hallmark of the industry path is it's fast-paced as compared to the academia. So in academia, you think about a problem which you will solve as a product in 5 to 6 years or 2 to 5 years. But in industry, you're solving the problem right now. And as you can see, just a depiction there, like you meet your team every day in a industry to talk about the progresses you have made. So it's very fast-paced environment where you have teamwork, you have rapid iterations, you work on something very quickly, you create a small product, which we call as MVP, minimum viable product, and you get it out to the users and find out the how users feel about it. So in this path, we are going to talk more about what are the different roles we can think of, what are the things which can help you get to your career. So now we have defined the industry path, which is fast-paced, very versatile, and fulfilling. We can now dig deeper into these specific roles and how you can fit in and how your interests might align with these. So you can subdivide each of these and then repeatedly divide these roles into so many different specializations. But for the sake of our audience today, I have broken down with the help of my colleagues here in 6 different roles. We're going to talk about the software and data. We're going to talk about the hardware engineering. We're going to talk about the infrastructure and security. And then we will talk about the product management, project management, business management, design UX, and other non-coding tech, which I'm really excited about. Moving on, when we talk about the software and data, we're not just talking about writing lines of the code. We're talking about the engine of the digital logic. This engine includes developing applications for the billions of the people who use, like you use Instagram every day, use Zoom right now, we are using Zoom. So people have gone back in 10 years ago, coded a way to share our screens, to share our videos very effectively across the globe. Somebody has written that digital logic. We build the data-driven insights that help businesses make smarter decisions. That's where the data comes in. And of course, the implementation and the management of those algorithms that are currently driving the global AI revolution. The funny fact is the last image was created through AI. I did not put out effort to create that because, there is an AI to help you generate and, make a digital image of your thought processes. The reach in software and data is immense, it's massive. Think about from the e-commerce systems of Amazon, Flipkart, to the global cloud. Amazon is also a global cloud infrastructure company. Many people don't know that, but we can just talk more about it later on. And the productivity ecosystem of Microsoft, everybody has used PowerPoint, Word at some point of the time. And these technologies touch every corner of the globe, not just me, not just you, everybody else. Think about the phones, the mobile phones, even the old Nokia phones, they had the digital logics inside them. And for those of you looking at the career paths, this is where you'll find roles like in software data, software engineers, the architectures of the application, which create the application, the data scientists, the detectives who find the meaning of massive data, hey, 50% of the people like these ads, or 50% of people like this screens, or 50% of people like something else. And then ML engineers, which are machine learning engineers, they're the builders of self-learning systems, which can help. For example, you go into Netflix, you watch a movie, and then suddenly you are shown that, hey, you might also like this. That is where the data is driven from your experience, your understanding. If you like that movie, you're going to get that recommendation as well. And at Kashmir Care Foundation, we believe in education first, and we're incredibly proud of this highlight some of our own community members who are leading in ways in these fields, software and data technology. We have leaders like Prashad Atwani, I know them personally, a few of them, and Dr. 𝗕𝗵𝘁, and who brings in years of expertise in the software leadership and data analytics. They are both amazing leaders. We also have the representation from the highest levels in the industry. Umar Bhatt, also a senior at NIT and senior at Texas A&M, is a senior engineer at Amazon. He works relentlessly. He is an amazing achiever. And 𝗕𝗵𝘁 at NVIDIA Cloud. And we have so many other folks. Like even in your mentors, there are folks who are working as a software engineers, including me and Aqib. We are both by profession started with the engineering profiles as well. These individuals are proof of excellence with our community, so as a bridge for the next generation of engineers. And I'm so glad and so happy that some of them will be joining us in our next sessions on the fire chats, on the workshops, and other things which KCF is bringing. And as we move forward, keep in mind, the goal of this session is to demystify these roles, show you the roadmap to achieving similar successes in the global tech landscape. And that's what we are here for. The next role is, in our last slide, we discussed building the brain, right? Which is through the software and data, which is like digital logic. Now we move to building the physical core. So without the hardware, software has no home, right? You write the logic, but it needs somewhere to run that logic. This is where the digital world meets the physical world. The domain is all about designing silicon and mechanical structures. It's all about designing the chip. You have a mobile phone which has chips, which has GPUs, which have RAMs, which have CPUs. It's an intricate world of microchips and the circuitry that allows our devices to process the information at the lightning speed. And when you think of the most demanding tech today, you think of the hardware. And do you know what's the most scarce commodity in the computing world today? It is actually the electricity or the power, which powers these devices and these data centers. So some of you might be excited to, go and explore the career paths in this field. The reach of this field again is vast and requires this sector requires massive processing powers. Like you will have seen, you compare your Nokia phone in 2000s and you compare your smartphone today and see even your laptops at that time or the computers at that time did not have such amount of the RAM and the memory or the CPU or computational power. And that is what these 2 decades have bring us in terms of the hardware and the firmware. You think about the IoT Internet of Things devices, like you have Alexa, you have Google Homes, you have Siri, you have Alexa on your phones. All of these are running behind on some amazing physical chips and data centers. And we have companies like NVIDIA, which are in the forefront of this revolution, and especially in the age of the AI, where you need a lot of computation power to run the inferences and run the training of the models. For those interested in this physical side of the tech, there are incredible career paths as well, right? We talk about the chip designers, we talk about the circuit designers, we talk about the robotics engineer, we talk about the system on the chip or logic designers as well. You might have some of you who have already gone through some of the trainings. You will have learned the AND logic, NOR logic, NAND logic gates, and implementation of those, and implementation of the ICs as well. And we are also fortunate in this side of the tech as well, that we have brilliant examples and the faces in our own community. And I just want each of you to take the inspiration that, hey, I want to be the next Imran, I want to be the next Kashyap or 𝗕𝗵𝘁. And these represent people who are on the hardware and the firmware side. I just want you to connect with these people that have already achieved some success in their lives. The next one is infrastructure and security. We discussed about algorithms. We discussed about the physical silicon where we put these things on and run. But now to turn these to infrastructure and security.
The slide.
Slide is, sorry. It just went one up. So now we turn to the infrastructure and security. If this software is the engine, hardware is the body, this domain is the circulatory system, the immune system of that body. So I'm just, constructing all of them into a body and which works as a function. So, for all the medicals and the biology students out there, and my mom, she will be so happy that I added a medical reference in the tech presentation. This section is critical for building the brain, right? When you have the brain, you need to make sure the complex networks, the cloud services, the security protocols are required to keep the data flowing safely and reliably. You don't want to lose your data. You don't want the intimate pictures of your family, of your kids to circulate, and be shown to others. And this is where the security comes in the picture. Without this foundation, the software and the hardware we had discussed couldn't communicate at the scale. So the impact, again, here is, again, global. All of these are global impactful professions and the roles. And it secures the world's financial and the communication grids. If you have a bank and you check your 𝗕𝗵𝘁 app and you look at your money, you don't want somebody else to look at, hey, how much money you have, right? And that's where the communication and the infrastructure and the security comes in, that you want to protect your user data, you want to protect your data so that nobody else can watch it. So this is an ideal field for those of you who enjoy system-level thinking, high-stake problem solving, and the key roles include cloud architects and cyber and security analysts, the essential defenders responsible for monitoring threats, protecting digital assets, and many more of these positions. And again, we are proud to highlight that we have a lot of folks from our community that have already been at the pinnacle of this role as well. 𝗵𝗫 Shah, he's a principal architect and director at Cisco, and I'm so happy to announce that he will be also joining one of our fire chats. I had a chat with him a couple of days ago as well. And Kamran Rafiq, he's a cybersecurity leader with a deep expertise in the cloud and AI. Faizan Zerger, he works as an SOC engineer. Like, when you will explore more of these, you will understand that each of these roles are important to work as a full function as a company. As we conclude the session, remember that no matter how advanced the software or hardware is, the infrastructure and the security that provides the backbone and the shield for every digital success story. You might have heard about the breaches in the user data. This is where we need people like you to step in and become the custodians of the data and the data security in the future. Moving on, after looking at the technical brain, physical core, the data to secure all of this, the infrastructure to secure all of this, while engineers build this product, this domain of product and businesses, we need to ensure that we are building the right product. You can solve a problem, but are you solving the right problem that is faced by the users? That's where the product and the business comes in the picture. So what these people do, the people in these roles, their core mission is to bridge the gap between the technical teams and the market needs. So it's about the translation of these complex technical capabilities and turning them into the value the customers understands. For example, if you are facing an issue where you are not able to communicate properly, we create WhatsApp messaging, right? Now you don't need, and not everybody needs to be on having the phone numbers. You don't care about whether you are in a different country or some other country. You don't care about the rates that will apply on SMS. So that's solving a real world problem where you forego those and you use internet across and then communicate with each other. That was a problem statement and it got solved. The reach of this, again, is ensuring products are delivered on time, making sure that the feature drives actual value for the user, and coordinating the life cycle of these, billion-dollar products like WhatsApp, like Facebook, like Zoom. The reach of this family is also global, as we talked about. Everything we talked about in the tech is global because that's how it works. You will have the roles like product manager, IT strategist, product marketing, and some of the folks you already know in this call are product leaders as well. I think 𝗨𝗪𝗧𝗲𝗏 is a product manager as well, and we are incredibly lucky to have mentors from our own community, which we can look at. 𝗙𝗿𝗏, Asrar, 𝗕𝗵𝘁, 𝗨𝗵𝘁. These are amazing people who have already been at the highest levels, decision makers on the product. Director of product management at Meta, which is Facebook, is an insane achievement to do. So this concludes our overview of the primary technology families within our group. Whether you're interested in core or chips or the security or the strategy, there's a place for you to excel. And I'm hoping that you drive the clarity on what interests you more. As I talked in the previous slides, sorry, my presentation is sliding to at one row. So we explored all of the business logic. We explored the chips where it's working. We explored that we are producing the right products for the consumers. Now the problem is translating and making it intuitive and accessible to our customers, to our end users. And this is where the designers and the UX comes in the picture. These roles create seamless interfaces, and these professionals influence the behavior and satisfaction of the billions of the people. Like how intuitive it is to scroll on the Instagram. Some designer worked on backend on that so that you have the seamless experience of scrolling. Or how you send an email, how easy it is to send an email from mobile device. That's also somebody from the design worked on it, how to make it so much good and compatible with your devices which you are using, because not everybody uses the same device. So for those who are creative and analytical, this domain is a fulfilling career, as you will architect the user journey, that how they look at the screens, how they work on the screens, what they use, how much they use it. And the scientists who study the humans interact with the machines, what we call as human interactions. So anybody of you who is interested in understanding the user journey to impact the user journey, this is something which you can take up as a career. And we have somebody from our community who works on the design and this role and can help us to answer any questions on this role. And design is the bridge between the human needs and the technical possibilities. And when you merge all of these roles together, you get a full technical company or a full technical product which you can use. Moving on, to conclude our exploration of the different tech families, it will be gross, it will be a gross incompetency on our side if we don't recognize the growth enablers. And it's a common misconception that you must be an engineer to work in a tech. You must be somebody who has studied computer science to work in a tech. In reality, high-tech companies cannot survive with engineering alone. You need a diverse ecosystem of specialists. You need economists, you need recruiters, you need the lawyers, you need the sales tech people, you need the financial advisors, you need the billing analysts. And these roles are the backbone for the company's operation to scale on the huge level. Some of you who are doing economics, you will be astonished that there is an amazing group of economists around different companies. At least in my company, there's huge need for economists as well. And for among you people who are passionate about tech but prefer people on the business side of the house, these are the roles: tech recruitment, lawyers, growth marketers, financial advisors. And as you can see, that we are proud that our community also excels in these vital non-coding areas, which I called. And we have Sheikh 𝗕𝗵𝘁, who works on the CS resolutions. It's basically the security resolutions of a company. And then we have 𝗵𝗻 Shah, who works on the AWS monetization, which is a critical role which connects Amazon's technical cloud capabilities to sustain the business growth. So when whether your strength is in the writing code, designing hardware, managing talent, a brand, there's a seat at the table for you in the technology industry. The KCF Technology Group, which is a bunch of us here, is to help you find which path fits your unique skills best. And in our next set of the sessions, we'll talk more about with these leaders, like how you can get into these tech roles, how you can, influence, and how you can make an impact there. When we were talking about this presentation, we also wanted to see there is not just academia path, there's not just industry path. There are multiple other paths, but we want to restrict two special cases here for the audience today. In this role, research and industry, we find ourselves at the intersection of both academia and the industry. So research and industry, basically, it describes the best of the both worlds. So for the folks who want to drive and create knowledge and technology and also impact them into use cases or user products, this is a field for you. Usually, many folks have gone through cycle. I have gone through the same cycle where I was a developer first, became a researcher, and then I became a research in industry where I contributed to an industry through my research. Unlike many roles we have discussed that focus on the immediate product cycles in the industry path, research scientists focus on the long-term breakthroughs. These are the part of the industry where you do the academia work in an industry. And the reach of this field is transformative because this is like what you do and develop the intellectual property, the patents, the papers, the next level of the technology, like artificial intelligence. And if you are passionate about this, you start with a strong foundation in academia, and then you translate that academia into an industry role. And these roles are basically applied scientists. These are research scientists, physicists who work for big companies and the domains like OpenAI, Google DeepMind, which do the research on autonomous mobiles. You work on the space exploration with the SpaceX. So there are so many different things which you can do when you combine the both worlds, which is industry and the academia. And we have so many folks, but I'm mentioning one of them here, 𝗕𝗵𝘁, and they are senior applied scientists in AWS Agentic AI Science. Amazing field and amazing work. So research and industry reminds us the technology is never finished. There's always something next. Right now we are in the AI world, booming world of AI. Next tomorrow there will be something else going on. So all these folks who are working as a researcher in industry are breaking those walls down to get us to the next level. And again, the KCF Technology Group is here to help you guide through your journey. The next one is also an offset of what we talked about. 𝗕𝗵𝘁, do you want to present a very small, go for it.
Sure. So the next thing is about tech founders. So things don't stay the same. And people always look at the technology or look at a problem space and think, let's solve this problem, or this technology can have applications where we can create a business out of it. So you don't just be an employee, you become an employer. You start something new. You think about how to solve a problem, and then you become a tech founder. You start with an idea, and you get funding for it through venture capital or you bootstrap it. That's the great thing about tech as well. Sometimes you can just start with your laptop and create a business. And then, you have to find that there are actual users, there's a need for it. So you think about the product market fit. Whose need will it serve, or what problem will it solve? And there are different lanes, whether it solves for a business, so B2B, or it's a consumer product for consumers, for ordinary people. They can use it. So yeah, you think about the product market fit, you think about the fundraising. So what's the logos here you can see, and it's Y Combinator, Andreessen Horowitz. Y Combinator is the world's biggest startup accelerators. Anyone can apply. You don't need to leave your job. You can just have an idea. And if they like your pitch, they have an incubation period. They guide you with everything. They give you some seed funding and also connect you with, and give you the guidance, as well as connect you with other investors. So yeah, so here as well we have some Kashmiri's path breakers. You can see that who were courageous enough, competent enough, and had the vision to start their own companies. There's Sarah Andrabi, Nafisa Muzaffar, Shafat Qazi, Tahir Qazi, and some of them even got employment right into J&K, like Shafat Qazi and Tahir Qazi. They started their companies in the US with US customers, including US government, but they had offices right here in Kashmir as well, and got generated employment as well, and had a viable selling product which generated a lot of revenue and solved real problems. So yeah, so we don't need to stay limited or always looking for opportunities. You can literally create your own opportunity. So yeah, that's about founding, and we can go to the next slide. It's about, okay, how do we start? And you have to take action. You just don't enroll in a course and always wait to be spoon-fed. You have to be, as an industry, people who like to hire would want you to be self-driven, and so you have to take charge of your career as well. Don't wait for everything to come to you. You have to seek, as they say, seek and you shall find. And for students and young professionals, what kind of steps can we recommend? Of course, there's mentoring, one-to-one mentoring, through which we can guide you in more detail. But let me give you just an overview. For students, of course, take the relevant courses. And sometimes you can even take courses even if you're not sure. And then as you take the course, you'll get a better understanding. But yeah, if you're in the technical side, you take computer science, IT, math courses. And always to stay aware, join tech clubs and competitions. Don't just stay confined to a classroom. Join tech clubs and competitions. There are hackathons online. DevPost is the biggest platform for hackathons. Go and see and try to find join hackathons and see how you go, and you will always improve. So don't be afraid of failure. Keep going. Build small projects, and you don't need to always just think about what you experience in your life, any problem, and think of, oh, I wish there was a product for it. Go and try and build a small project for it. And yeah, attend meetups, conferences. That's how you get the exposure. Sometimes you just don't know. So, for example, if you're attending this session, you would have got to know a lot. So similarly, try and attend those conferences and fill your knowledge gaps. If you don't think that, okay, I'm not good in this, then I will stay like that. Take online courses, fill your knowledge gaps. There are amazing resources available, and seek internships. And sometimes even I met a person who was he was applying online and not getting much callbacks. But then he researched some startups who are usually more willing to give someone a chance. But he didn't just contact them. He did a lot of research for them, and he wrote a great cover letter in addition to his resume about how his experience and his education and what he had studied about the business of that startup, how he would like to help. And the founders were really impressed and gave him a chance. So yeah, that's the way you have to show your interest. Take action, there's always power with you as long as you take action. And for young professionals who have, already started their education journey or going into the market or just starting already, identify your target role where you want to be, and accordingly, which role, as we have all discussed, there are different paths, which path you want to follow. Like you can even after work experience go in the research or other way, as we talked about as well, after research, join industry. So find your target role, explore everything, and fill those skill gaps, whether that's with certifications or projects, so that the employer sees you. Basically, you validate before even the interview. You validate with certifications, with projects, which you can keep out for anyone to see that yes, this is a capable person who knows what he's talking about, and this is a proof. And yeah, so build up your profile, build up your projects to stand out, and network on LinkedIn and events. Reach out to people. When I was going for grad studies to the US, I looked at the other people on LinkedIn who had taken the same journey to get an idea of what they would have done. I read interviews, I talked to people. That gave me the confidence, because initially many things seem unclear or not doable. But yeah, that's how you get an idea. And even some people, as I now work in the industry, many undergrad students reach out to me who are looking for internships or jobs, and I have conducted mock interviews with them. And that just mock interview exposed a lot of their gaps, and it helped them know, okay, how exactly to behave in the interview, not just, knowing, but you have to articulate your thoughts well so that the interviewer gets it, what you're really capable of, how to handle that pressure, and how to come prepared. Oh, so sorry. Yeah. So last few things is, that's how you apply and all. And lastly, that open source project, again, working in public. In interviews, think out aloud and similarly show your work. If you just say, oh, I did something in the, and as part of my coursework, I did an assignment, you can claim.
नहीं नहीं 𝗕𝗵𝘁
Sorry. Okay. So yeah, last thing. So open source projects. So what is open source? Is basically code which you can see, like Windows is closed source or Mac. You can't see how they coded it up. But there are many projects which are totally open source. You can go to GitHub and see their code. And there are many repositories which you can get started. Yeah, it may seem intimidating at the start, but if you go to their issues tab, you can filter by, they are labeled as good first issues for you to start. Don't be afraid. Take out the code, use whatever you use or you're interested. You can start small and you can get the guidance. And you start small and you can contribute. And that is a legitimate proof. Anyone can see that, oh, yes, he's capable of, in this contribution, goes through a review process and gets accepted. So yeah, take all these steps and you will rise through the ranks and break through. Go to the next slide. Thank you.
Thank you, Aqib Saab. Really appreciate. Sorry. Next one, skills for the industry success. Again, we talked about academia. Same set. You have a technical side of it. You have a professional side of it. You want to make your foundation strong. You want to understand the basics. You want to build the understanding of how you can work. You basically get the core logic and understand the algebra, understand some of the status. These are the bedrock of like everything we build. And then from the professional side, what we in general think about is that you all need to be technically strong to succeed in the industry. But let me break it down to you. Actually, it's the teamwork and the collaboration which can help you progress in the leadership faster than being strong at the technical side. And the methodology you will work in a very agile and the Scrum like environments. It's just a fancy way of saying that we work fast, we work in organized cycles, we think about we're going to do this tomorrow. So all of this work in the professional side would help you basically make sure that you progress. So looking at this graph, half of this is technical skills, half of it is professional skills. So basically, to keep your career growing and moving forward, you need both of these as a part of your wheel so that you can keep your career growing. Next on, I just want to go very quickly as we wrap our today's session. I just want to walk you through the three main thoughts. And if you forget the details of the specific role, just remember that we have these leaders coming in the fireside chats with you all, and you will have the questions and understand how to go into those roles. First, remember the tech career is not just a monolith. It's not a single work. It's whether you want to be a researcher, professor, you want to uncover the new theories of academia, you are a product engineer, or you are an analyst. It's huge. Remember, the tech career is vast, very, very vast. We just boil it down to 6 career roles right now. But if you go inside each career, they can have like tons of different roles across software and data or hardware. And regardless of the path you choose, the bridge between them is to build on the core shared skills: problem solving, clear communication, and commitment to the continuous learning. That is important. You don't stop learning. You don't just complete your master's degree or bachelor's degree and say that, hey, I'm done. Now I will just earn the money. No, you keep on mastering these skills. You keep on continuously learning it. And finally, the most important takeaway is don't wait. Start today. You don't need a fancy degree. You don't need a high-end job to begin. You can just go today, figure out what you want to be, and find out the next steps. And we, at the KCF, can help bridge that gap and do it for you. And finally, now we just don't want to give you the roadmap and leave you walk it alone. At the KCF Foundation, we are committed to providing the actual tools and support you need to succeed. And here are some of the examples what we are thinking from the KCF's technology group. We would think about the workshops, which will be like somewhere like internships experience, and we'll work on the real world problems between the two members across you members here. And you will be solving a real world problem. You will be given a problem, you solve it, and you will be given a mentor who will help you solve that problem. We also have a one-to-one mentorship program, which is around 5 months now. And we have already, engineers and the tech leaders in that space, which are mentoring one-on-one. I'm also part of the one-on-one mentorship, and I think 𝗬𝗏 is as well. So remember that at KCF, our mission is humanity always, education first. So these programs are designed to turn that mission into success. Please don't hesitate to take the advantage of these resources. We're here to help you grow and make the right choices. Okay, finally, I want to thank all the amazing people who have worked behind the scenes to make this possible. Special thanks to Dr. 𝗙𝗏𝗏, Dr. Tanzila, Dr. Zahoor. You have been working on the background to make this session possible. Thank you for all your guidance. Dr. Moiza, thanks for keeping us on the toes to make this presentation possible. I know during the holidays we slack, we slow down, but glad that you kept us working through and making sure that we provide those. And we will have more sessions on the fire chats with some of the people we talked today, and we'll come to learn their experiences there, how they became those leaders in their roles and in their places. On behalf of myself, okay, and entire KCF team, we want to see you take that first step, because at the end of the day, it's always humanity always, education first. So thanks for listening. Let's start with the questions.
Thank you so much, Adil and 𝗬𝗏. This was super insightful. I think one of the most insightful sessions I've seen in a while, breaking down complete sector into these roles and giving an idea to these mentees, to all the people listening to us today, what kind of roles they want to get into. Super helpful. And I think highlight is that if you are not from a computer science background, you can still work in technology. If you don't know coding, you can still work in technology. You just need to put in the effort and, start somewhere. Thank you so much for doing the session. I think there's a lot of value to take. And I think mentees who are here on the call, request you guys to please, if you have any questions, drop them in the chat. I will now go through the questions one by one, and maybe 𝗙𝗵𝘃-𝗧𝗲𝗏 will help us answer these questions. The first question I can see on the chat is, which programming languages or tools are most useful for students from non-IT backgrounds? 𝗙𝗵𝘃-𝗧𝗲, you want to take that?
Yeah, definitely. I would have loved to have Dr. Tanzila answer that question, but I can answer some of it from my perspective, but I might be biased, but still. I think Python is one of the languages which I have seen a lot of non-tech studied people use to explore the coding side of it. I think it's Python. It's easy. It's easier to replicate. It does not need a very highly synthetical logics. It's like intuitive, and it flows very easily. I might be wrong, but this is from my side. But if there are some folks from the non-technical background who have done this, please speak up.
I would like to add to this is that with the AI available today, it becomes even more easy. People say about, okay, it will do the work for you, but it's not just that. It can help you learn as well. It can unblock you. If you start with Python or like you get into an error and you give up, yes, you should be, learn how to debug the problems. But now AI can help you with that as well and learn. You don't understand what is happening. You can just highlight and ask AI, and it will help you with the learning as well as unblock you somewhere. So yeah, totally. Python is the language I would also recommend, but I would also say that take AI's assistance, and yeah, don't be afraid. And especially now with AI, that you don't even have to go through 100 websites and ask questions. You can get answers and get unblocked very quickly.
Guys, the next question is, what role does humanities or arts play in the field of technology? 𝗙𝗵𝘃, you want to take that?
Yeah, sure. So interestingly, yes. So in NIT Srinagar as well, we have the humanities department, and we doesn't just offer courses on the side. Even engineers have to take it. And I didn't understand it at first, but yes, we build products, and the technology is used by the people. So we have to understand that. Like what are which people like our products, which don't. So yeah, that industry research there as well, in sales as well. And I've seen product managers at Amazon who had worked, who had studied, done humanities courses, arts and all, who had that sense of, the product, what product would a person like to use, or similarly sales as well. How do you connect to people or pitch your product and also, yeah, so there, as we discussed already, the different courses, so you can go into that background. With your arts background, it will be helpful. And even in research or in technology, there are, being used, who you can, like you join any of the tracks, and your knowledge, what you had studies, which you might think that it's not related, you will be able to apply that knowledge. But yeah, you have to find one of the roles, and you can come in from any background, and your knowledge will be useful.
Yeah,
𝗙𝗵𝘃, you want to add anything?
Yeah, adding to 𝗙𝗵𝘃, I just want to give an example. If you are a geologist, Amazon actually recruits geologists to understand what's the best place to have a data center which is away from the calamity or the earthquakes or the tsunami. So there are a lot of these opportunities in the technology like companies.
Thank you. I would like to add, in product management, there's a lot of psychology. There's
Yes.
so much of user psyche that you need to break down and think deeper into that. So psychology also plays a very huge role in product development. Okay, moving on to the next question is Tariq Rasool is asking, Adil sir mentioned that the company needs economists for non-tech roles. Could you specify which departments such as product strategy, operations tend to hire the most economic graduates? And what key skills beyond economic theory do you look for in those candidates?
I think we might have missed one question, but I will go here quickly. Economists. So when you are selling a product, when you are selling anything to a consumer, you need to understand the economics of it. For example, if an Amazon or my team, which sells ads to the consumers, we need to understand how these ads are being used or how these ads are like determining the sales of those products. So as an economist, you will understand what value these ads are bringing. So you will debunk and solve that problem. In terms of the skills, it's just like economics, like simple economics of understanding. Like, for example, you will also explore demand and supply curves, right? Hey, if I have a high demand for these products, you will make more sales on this. Making these projections for the teams, making these projections for the companies is a very important role which you need to do. And how we hire them is simple, straightforward. Like there will be, if you go in Amazon jobs right now, there will be so many jobs for economics graduates. The key skills are your foundation in economics, you understanding the forecasting, you understanding the gains, all of these, like basic economic rules. And if you have a position, I will be happy for you to, recommend and refer that.
Thank you, Adil sir. I think a question that I missed was what leadership entry points in MNCs best suit psychology graduates? Not sure. Adil sir, you want to take that?
Yeah, definitely. I think one of the roles which we also want to make sure is ethics side of it. So if you see when the company organizations grow bigger and like huge, what you need is from the psychology students, graduates, what you need is their expertise to involve and make sure that your employees are following the ethical policies. You create these policies. So as a psychology student, you can outright like write the role policies for the company. You even can be a good side of the product management as well, and the people management, right? You can be a leader of these people, like using your psychology skills. So I think there are multiple entry positions. So you can start with policy making. There are a ton of jobs in the policy making for big companies. You can think about we do user studies. Like user studies are basically understanding the user behavior. That's where the psychology students can also come in. They can drive these experiments. They can help driving these experiments very like from the psychological perspective that one something likes or not likes. So I think there's a lot of jobs out there. I'll be happy to connect offline if you need more entry point like job roles for these.
Okay, thank you. I think this question is sort of more important to address because I think a common myth around it is it's very common. With the rapid advancements of AI tools that can now generate high quality code, do you think traditional front-end and back-end development roles will become obsolete in the next 5-10 years? Or will those roles evolve into something different? I think Adil Saab and Aqib, you guys are working at the forefront of technology and in engineering roles. So what do you think?
I have a very amazing example to answer this question. The answer is when we developed calculators, a lot of folks thought the same way that, hey, now we have calculators, we don't need the human calculations to be done. Like if you have seen some movies around the NASA, like having the actual people to do the calculations instead of having the calculator because calculators were not there. The answer is yes. With the advancement, your roles evolve into something else. Right now, like 10 years before, we were thinking of doing the assembly language code. Like, we were thinking about doing the firmware code. Now we don't do that anymore. We do high level coding. Now we have an infrastructure, an advancement which writes that code for us. What we can do now is we will evolve to make those tools better and have ethics around them to make sure that we are like our roles will evolve into something like, hey, how can I write a beautiful prompt which will give me what I want without sharing a lot of other context. So in 5 to 10 years, which I assume, if my understanding is right, your software engineering jobs will evolve into managing, maintaining, like making these AI tools much more useful for the use cases. Right now, we see that it's writing high quality code, but the problem is we don't know how to verify that. We don't have the verification tools right now. So maybe in a couple of 1 or 2 years, you will write verification tools to make sure that it writes like the code which you need and it solves it. And a simple example also is if you ask an AI to do some maths, it sometimes fails because it does not understand the context of it, and you have to give some more instructions. So I think all these roles will evolve into basically taking the help from the AI, but advancing the user. At the end of the day, you solve the user problems.
Another question is, being a science student, CS/tech seems difficult, although we can get along with the software very well, but we don't know what's happening at the back end. I think they're able to use the software like a MATLAB or something, but what is happening at the back end? They don't understand that. How can they bridge this gap? Aqib Saab, do you want to take that?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, again, as I would say, AI can help you a lot. But yeah, there is, you can still get a high level understanding. It is not magic. And it's like, layer by layer, this is built. From the starting, if you see the basics of a chip or a microprocessor, it starts with just ones and zeros, allowing a current, or even I would say that allowing a current and not allowing a current, taking that as digital, and then the chips and the circuits to represent logic. Okay, both of these conditions should be true, is and, either of these is or. So you build a circuit like that, and then you have some memory and things like that. And then basically at the end, it's like we send instructions. The programming, what you are doing in MATLAB and all, it's just like instructions to the computer, which can do compute, like do mathematical computations, as well as use memory and all that other stuff. But you program into it, and it gets compiled to the basic instruction. So you write a MATLAB program, but behind the scenes, it would pass down into something. Okay, for example, if you write as simple as adding two things, it will go to one memory location and another, and then binary, it would do binary addition and give you the result. So there, it looks magic and it at a high level, but it behind the scenes, it just goes back down to the core OS of chip level, and that's how we get the answer. So you can get again utilize AI for that, and don't be afraid. It's okay to feel intimidated. Everyone gets this imposter syndrome, but you have to realize that don't just stay fearful. Face your fear, ask question, and yeah, I cannot know everything. I'm in engineering, but if I still have, for example, friends who are in other fields, or maybe doctors, I don't get a medical degree, but I still understand it at a high level. And if you talk to, this is a professional tip as well, how you build, relations that ask people about their work, and they would be very interested in talking about that. So yeah, don't stay intimidated. Use AI to help you and talk to people, and you can still get a high-level understanding and high-level concepts of working, which I'm sure that, yes, that would give you more confidence, and you will not feel that, oh, I don't know, so I don't know how good my results will be because I don't understand how things are happening. But yeah, go ahead, don't feel afraid, ask questions to AI and to people. And yeah, and of course, mentoring as well, we will be able to help you.
Thank you, Dr. Sir. I'm going to prioritize questions that I think will add value to a larger set of people. There's a question on as master students specializing in AI and ML. We recognize that modern machine learning projects often require competencies across multiple domains like model development, front-end engineering, and cloud infrastructure. Should we pursue broad technical knowledge across all these areas, or would it be more effective to develop deep expertise within our primary specialization while collaborating with specialists in complementary fields? It's a very good question. Adil Saab, you want to take that?
Yeah, definitely. I think I love, like, everybody loves to know everything, and it's a great way to think about, like, I can solve different problems, or I can take a different I can wear different caps across different fields. But what I would say is, like, in a big companies, eventually when you become a part of the team, you have these complementary, like, support in terms of the small teams. Like, you will have, if you are really good at your machine learning modulations, you will be supported by a great, like, production team, which will make that production ready. And if you need some data scientists, you will have a data scientist. So what I would suggest is, it depends upon how you want to work in the path of the career. If you want to be a journalist, yes, it can be helpful, but then the problem you will have is you will not be specialized in one field. You will have a knowledge across different fields. But when you go into big companies, you will be solving, you will have 5 team members from the 5 different fields, and as a team, you form a full product. So what I would suggest is, the effectiveness comes from the specialization, but don't lose the track of, like, general information, in sense, like, you should know how the things work, but does not necessarily mean that you know how to solve it. You can think about that there will be a team member who would help you solve this problem, and you can concentrate on your specialization, which is whether you are specializing in AI, ML, but you will need some amount of, like, generalization to do the POCs. But for the productionization, you will have a team support.
Thank you, Adil. I think the next question is, should we do internship first or go for entry-level job? And how much AI should we use? And how do we get a paid internship? The commonly asked question. Do you want to take Adil?
Yeah. This is what I tell everybody. Like, if during my undergrad at NIT Srinagar, I knew that internships are so important and so good to help you build the mindset up to work in industry, I would have done internships every year. So if you take the students in the developed countries like US, Europe, you will see people doing internships even after the first semester. So whether that internship is just doing, like, management work or, like, moving papers, I will say that take internships blindly whenever you get an opportunity. This gives you the real taste of industry, and this also exposes you to find out, hey, do I actually like to be a software developer, or do I want to do something else? I know people who have done physics in their undergrad, did an internship at Tech Career, and suddenly they were like, you know what? I love physics, but I will also love to be a software developer. I have seen people who are software developers, did an internship, said, like, oh, I hate coding because my interests are policy making, or my interests are somewhere else. So what I would say is, internship first, entry level jobs later. But if you are already graduating, try to go for full-time jobs.
Thank you, Adil. The next question is from Maliha. It's very difficult as a beginner to choose which field to choose. I think we talked about a bunch of them today, right? Like our syllabus
Yes.
includes full stack, but due to AI everywhere, everyone is talking that learning web dev is waste, web development. There are so many other fields like data analytics, data science, but it's so confusing which field to choose. Could you throw some light on how one can, how can they find the right role that fits them? Aqib, sir, you want to take that?
Yeah, sure. And so I think a good way of answering this is through examples and also giving you the assurance that you're not alone. Many people go through this, and even who later on do figure it out and become successful. I was myself, for example, for a long time, I did my undergrad in electronics engineering, but then I wanted to go into software. I went into software and I thought that, okay, management is where I want to be. And I even attempted to get an admission to MBA till I realized that management is not my cup of tea and I want to stay technical. And similarly, from Dower as well, I heard that who we saw is now quite, a leader on the data engineering and analytics side at Meta. When he was working in India in Bangalore or Hyderabad, uh, he got laid off, and then he had to figure out, and he got more into data, and then he became unstoppable. So yeah, so yes, you would have to you have to start somewhere, and you have to explore things. It's not a straightforward answer like you go through a flow chart and you will find, oh, this is I just answered 10 questions. Yes, that will help you get a start. So you have to start somewhere. I would also recommend that book, So Good That They Can't Ignore You, and Deep Work, which talk about this, that how you build career capital and follow your passion is not a good advice. You have to start somewhere, work hard in that, earn the credentials for that, and then you can also, change into other fields. So yeah, you have to stay committed for a bit in one area, and then you can switch as well. But yeah, you have to start somewhere, and there's no like clear answer. Yeah, that's what I would say, that yes, pick one thing, but also as you actually work, you will know the reality of that field, and you will, after you get exposure, you will be able to make better decision about what you really want to pursue.
Thank you, Aqib. Next question is, I wanted to know if someone who is in his or her second last year has good hands-on experience in one programming language. Should this switch to other tech stacks with better opportunities or focus on that only? For example, if someone has learned Java, but sees कि अभी सब कुछ Python में चल रहा है, so should they switch to Python or stick to Java? So what's the answer here? Adil sir, you want to take it?
Yeah, I can take it. I think at the end of the day, language is something you can learn. Language is just a syntax. It's a way of communication. If you understand the foundation and basics of like how you want to solve a problem, I think learning a new language is just very easy when you understand what you want to do. So if you see or if you think that there are opportunities in a different framework or language more than what you have learned, go ahead and do some projects on using that language, and you will find out that translating from one language to other language is really easy. So upskill yourself into solving a problem, and I think the language barriers will go away after that. Example is, I started with C++, and now I code in like 5 different languages day in, day out. So the problem is, once you know how to solve the tech problems, the language you can learn like in a day or two through the AI/MLs. You can learn through like examples. There are like plethora of examples which are people who have already solving like, hey, how to write for example, how to write a for loop, or how to write MVCs, or how to write something else, right? These are already solved. So what you need to do is you need to understand the foundation, the language and framework automatically comes in.
I would just like to add that, yes, exactly this. And you might get that feeling because some companies, they will ask for, okay, I want a React engineer, or I want Python. But many top companies as well, they don't care about. You can literally give an interview using any language because they know that a good engineer will be, and the lessons or your experience will translate. Yes, there are idiomatic ways of doing things like Python, you write things in a certain way. In Java, you write in a different way. But most of the lessons about, writing good, understandable code and performance and all, they translate. And yes, you need credentials, and some hiring will be that, okay, we need this skill set. They want, or give us that you have this experience, X number of experience in React or something. But yeah, you should be able to translate in and don't restrict yourself. Get expertise in something, but don't restrict yourself as well. And on the job, you have to learn as well.
Thank you, guys. One more question is, as an industrial chemistry student interested in applied research, how can we align our academic sorry, how can we align our academic training with industry needs in areas like advanced materials and AI-driven research? 𝗷𝗫𝗀𝗃, you want to take that?
Yeah. Oh my God. Like, this is such a important topic. I think in my presentation itself, I talked about right now the biggest problem we are solving in the tech world is not the infrastructure, is not AI ML. It's about the power consumption. It's about generating that power. And as a part of that is materials, right? You have batteries, you have the silicon, which actually runs these infrastructure and these processes. So what I would love to suggest you is like explore which side of the chemistry you want to go in. For example, I will give you a very small example. There was a person I know, a mentor from IIT, and she did chemical engineering. And she landed a job in NASA to understand which paint would go on this spacecraft or spaceships or the rockets to make sure the erosion is reduced. So think about from the perspective of where you want to land, and you can specialize in that field. And for example, in the tech, I can give you like a couple of things which can help you from the chemistry perspective. You can think about the advanced materials, like while working at the Samsung, while they were developing the foldable screens, that is insanely like some chemistry researcher came and said like, hey, we can develop a material which can fold and still manage and maintain the pixelation. So that is some chemistry researcher who solved that. Now we have batteries. Somebody came up and said like, hey, for example, Tesla, the biggest research goes in their batteries, not in their autonomous cars, not in their design. It goes into how to make the batteries efficient, which is basically chemistry. So pick up your poison, which is field, and you can succeed very well into that.
𝗷𝗫𝗀𝗃, could you also touch base upon how they could find roles like that? Because these are very niche roles, right?
Yes. So the best part of how to fit your skill set into a role is you can do two-side searching. One, you can search from the jobs itself and what they require, or you can use AI tools to say that, hey, I have these skill sets. What are the jobs out for me? So you can do that both ways. So if you have something in mind that I want to work for NASA, I want to work for Google DeepMind, I want to work for XYZ, then you will find the jobs there. Or if you already know that you are specializing in, I don't know, battery technology or the like chemistry side of the batteries, then you know that there will be a set of the companies who will work for Tesla example or some other companies. So you do both. Go from your skills, go from the jobs which needs those skills, and if those skills match, well and good. If they need some improvement or you need to add more skills, do that. So now you're also upskilling yourself and you're also understanding where you can apply.
Thank you, Anurag. I think one final question is, could you highlight some prominent tech clubs or communities, particularly those that combine technology with business or design, that students should consider joining? I remembered a few, I've listed them down, but do you guys have any other thoughts, any recollection of any such clubs?
So the part of like becoming a part of the coding club is also providing your making sure that you can basically contribute to them. But at KCF, we're also starting something what we call as the internship or workshop projects, right? Be a part of that. Learn, understand the end-to-end of like how you design, how you solve the problem. Apart from the what Tawqir already mentioned, these are there. You can actually look at the Discord forums. You can look at the GitHub forums where you can go and be part of those clubs. And there are newsletters from prominent engineers, prominent leaders who can help you go through those, like, understanding of like how you solve the problems and be part of that. I do have a list. I have actually one last presentation where I had the education platforms where you can go there. There are professionals in the different groups which can help you there. But I have a repository of clubs or repository of the places which take the newcomers and the beginners. I might share that with Tawqir and you can share with them as well.
Thank you so much.
I would like to add about three recommendations. One is that on Reddit, find your subreddit, any field, whether it is psychology, product management, anything you're interested in, and Hacker News. Hacker News, and also, as I was talking previously about Y Combinator, the biggest startup incubator, don't think that, okay, I have to be a technologist. Any problem, they have even funded nuclear fusion startups. Any problem that you think. So even in Kashmir, I was seeing on LinkedIn a Kashmiri student, in fact, just bachelor's, he had applied for Y Combinator. He had an idea with his other students, batchmates, and they were applying. So yeah, don't restrict yourself. And I think that's the hottest place to get an idea if you follow Y Combinator and Hacker News. And also feel free to ask anything on when you find the relevant Reddit subreddit. But yeah, don't restrict yourself as others have been asking as well. And you can even take a look on Y Combinator. What are the companies that they have funded? And you will get an idea all over the world, different kinds of problems that people saw and they applied and they got funded. Don't just think that, oh, all of them were US based or all of them were doing, solving some technical problem. Like it was solved, it may be solved through technology, but the problem is in the real world. Anything. It could be clean water, it could be any other needs. So yeah, that's one of the recommendations I would have.
Thank you. I guess just one more question has come up on Facebook. I had completed my master's in MCA and recently completed full stack web development course as well, but it's very hard to get an internship. I've tried reaching everywhere, but still not getting not even a response. Any thoughts on that? Adil, you want to take?
Yeah. It's a very long, arduous process to find internships. I agree. The whole game is to keep on applying, and this is something which I want to entail and say more about, which I think we as Kashmiris feel like when we apply a couple of positions, we get rejected, or they're not open, or they go with a different candidates. Don't feel like that's the end of it. Failure is a step towards a progress. Failure is a step towards making progress into what you want to do. Reach out, build your technical skills, build your network, reach out to people who are already in the industry and ask them, hey, this is a job, can I get a referral? literally yesterday, I referred like 6 different people from our community to 6 different roles in Amazon. Don't shy away from asking like for a referral as an intern or a referral or connect. Just say that, hey, this is me. I have this skills. Do you think there is a position for me, or would you consider me for if there is a position open? Keep on expanding your professional network. That's very important, and keep on applying. I think it's hard, but it's not impossible.
I would just like to add, because just yesterday, I got asked the same question from another student who is in fact in the US. And he doesn't even have visa issues, and he was finding it. So I asked him 3 questions. That did you participate in any hackathons on DevPost? Often as I mentioned earlier, DevPost is the biggest platform for hackathons, and many are sponsored by biggest companies, Google, AWS, everything. So the great thing about, as you have in this question, you have said you've done MCA, so you are already familiar with programming and everything. So build up your, as I said, not just you did it MCA, but something which the recruiters might be able to see, or it stands out. And second thing, as I told him, register on Y Combinator jobs. Because, Y Combinator funds all these startups, but they don't have unlimited money, and they often give a chance to freshers. And as I mentioned about that story of one of my friends who had also applied for 400 or 500 jobs and was not getting a response. But then he really honed on some startups, and he wrote a very personalized contact after doing the research to the founders, who were impressed, and they really wanted to get that. And in fact, I was earlier working at a startup here in Canada, and a candidate literally showed up at the office, and we were so impressed, and we gave him an interview, but he was not as prepared. So this is another thing, that you have to be prepared. There was a Kashmiri student as well who reached out to me on LinkedIn. I said, okay, I will give you a referral if you pass my mock interview. And he didn't do so well, but in the mock interview, but he learned a lot. He was nervous. He was not thinking out aloud. He was not explaining. He was struggling. But yeah, so you need to have these, as they say, chance favors the prepared mind. So you have to prepare, have with your friends or through virtual ways, mock interviews, so that when you get that opportunity after a lot of try, you're ready. So that's another important thing. And the last thing, as I said about open source contributions, there are they're labeled as good first issues. If you have a real, what better proof is there that their open source contribution to a popular library was accepted? So yeah, go ahead and do that. Don't just, stay passive. Yes, you have to apply for hundreds, and it's a game like where you have to apply a lot, but there is still a lot within your power. Don't just think that, oh, I did the work of studying, now give me a job. So show your competency, and there are ways to do it, especially easy because you're in software and all.
Thank you, guys. I think it is, I speak from experience. Uh, Job search is a very long and daunting and evolving process. You need to keep on applying, and you need to keep on improving as you apply day on day to make your chances better. I mean, I have a friend sitting right ahead with me who was applying to jobs for more than 6 months, if I'm not wrong. And now he's a product manager at Google. He didn't give up. He almost spent every day reading and preparing. You guys can follow him. I'm sure he'll be happy to help. I'll write his LinkedIn down. But it's a very difficult process. You have to kind of keep on doing that. You lose motivation on days, but the trick is to keep on doing it, show up every day, and then one day you'll probably, land your dream role. So, yeah, definitely very useful advice. I guess that is it in the questions. Um, so I guess we'll wrap it up here unless there are more questions. But super, super helpful, super proud that we did this session. I think this is one of the most insightful sessions. The quality of questions, the quality of content we gave was very on the top, and I think we did a great job. I hope the intention behind these sessions is to, impart knowledge and awareness in our mentees and to the community as a whole. And I hope there is more participation from students, from young professionals in sessions like these. We'll be doing more of these sessions in the future. There'll be multiple chats, and I also want to float a Google form here, which will sort of help us to prepare better for these sessions. I will just copy that link here. And please, everybody, just take your time and fill this form up. It will help us understand what you want from us, what you want to learn, what problems do you have. I think they'll just share this form on the chat. These are only 5 questions, if I'm not wrong. So just go on and do this. I think it will help us a lot in understanding what is your need, and that we use this time very fruitfully and productively to actually cater to what you need from us. So thank you so much. We look forward to your responses. I hope everybody has copied this link, and will maybe also publish it in the group or somewhere else. And looking forward to your responses. And thank you so much for tuning in this late as well. Thank you, Adil and Aqib, again. This was super insightful. Thank you so much for taking out the time. I think 𝗙𝗵𝘁, you have something to say. I will hand it over to you from here. Thank you.
Tawqeer, thank you so much. Thank you, Adil. Thank you, Aqib, and everyone that dialed in. If I had to leave you all with one advice to the participants, many of us are victims, and we have a disease, what we call it, 45-second attention span. If you want to become a leader, like Adil, like Aqib, and many others whose faces you saw, stop that. Read something that's manageable and meaningful. 45 second, 30 second की situation से बिल्कुल बाहर निकल जाओ. And think like Adil is thinking, think like Aqib is thinking. Tawqeer, Sabaji has been giving a lot of guidance to you. Leaders come out of us, you and me and everyone on the screen. Think of becoming a leader, and leaders don't think in 45-second increments. They look deep, they look wide. With that, Tawqeer, over to you again.
I guess that's it. Beautifully put. That's a good wrap up to the session. I would just thank everybody, and would like to conclude the session here and now. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, everyone.